Hello viewers, well our E3 content continues. We're at the latter stages of it now, of new games that were shown, and today we're looking at Overpass, coming from Big Ben Interactive. Overpass is something quite unlike anything else currently being released at the moment. It's I don't have an official line for it, but it's sort of a driving challenge game, if you like, and the whole idea of this is you're going to be given a number of tricky courses that require a lot of dexterity, a lot of understanding, and you're going to be given various different vehicles, and the idea is to overcome these tricky landscapes as quickly as possible. And we're going to look at some of the landscapes here. There are lots of locations and landscapes within those locations and tracks to investigate, and we'll look at some of those in this video. There is just this one vehicle, and I don't know what stage of development it's at, but it certainly looks like it's still very much at a pre-alpha stage. So this is very early development at this stage, and it's very much a physics-based racer. This is not a high-speed track or rally racing game. This is about navigating objects and taking your time. And so from forests to the beach climate we see here, and it's very smooth across the sand, of course, but then you're slowing because you see some rocks. Don't want to damage your suspension. You take your time, cruising very slowly. I find a little squirt of acceleration just before you get to an object can raise the vehicle's front wheels just enough to get a bit of traction, and of course you're changing from between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive various different times depending on the objects that you're facing. Every now and again you'll come up against very tricky instances like this where you're thinking, right, how do I get over that? You know, do I rev hard, or do I go in at sort of 1 mile an hour and just keep a bit of movement, a bit of traction? A lot of grip on the rocky surfaces, but it's also very rigid over these logs here, just catching that wrongly. And if you go too fast, it will bite you in terms of, and there you go, just a bit of speed, a squirt of throttle just to get the front wheels up. And around the corner here on lap 1 of 2 of this race, which was event which was quite tricky. So this is very early stage. We've not seen anything of the career mode yet. We've not seen all the different vehicles that are going to be in the game. We've not seen all the different sort of tracks and locations. A very early build, and again here just traction changes also depending on the type of surface you're on greatly. So you could have a bit of sand, but some sand is more compacted in some areas than others. Sometimes the traction's better. Sometimes you're looking for objects to get a bit of traction off of. Rotating into this section. Again here you think, how are we going to get through this? You just got to get in there and use you're constantly turning the wheel from side to side. So what are you doing? You're turning the wheel from side to side, you're rocking the car, you're trying to alter the weight in terms of using the weight so it slides from one side to the other. It's funny, when you're watching a video like this, it seems obvious what you've got to do, but when you do that, it's not always entirely obvious when you're actually playing. And so sometimes you just got to give it a load of boot, give it some welly, and get up those hills here and there as well. So you just need to learn a bit about where you use the car in different ways. Just the single gear here in this particular demo I was trying out. Drive. I don't know if the final game has some kind of manual gearbox or not. There is a bonnet cam and there is a cockpit cam, an early cockpit cam, but I found in the process of making this video that it was essential to see suspension on your wheels as we move to the old canyon. Again, another dry sort of location, and would I say I was improving every lap? No, because it's very technical driving and there's more than one way to approach any given object. So when you see experts play this game, they will make me look terrible. I guess if you've played something like Spin Tires, you've got an idea on kind of how this rolls. There's a lot of physics going on, and there's some areas like this where I just didn't quite know how to do it within the actual bounds of the track here. And if I can get up there, and the car just kept getting beached, and trying to reverse a bit now to, and then I get a penalty, I think, for missing the object somewhere. Trying to reverse. No, we're over it. Oh, okay, that's about it. You know, we got over it. Wasn't entirely clean. There's also a slight delay getting it into gear occasionally. If you do get into reverse, you've got to sort of double press to get it into reverse with the current automatic setup. Here I noticed there was this sand on the side of the steps, so I was thinking maybe use that for a little bit of helpful traction. Smoother run up maybe, I don't know. Again, just sliding from side to side here. Again, just trying to get an angle on the wheel so I can turn it when I'm actually moving, get a bit of traction. And then further on the course as well, I wanted to show you a bit of this because you can see it takes some time getting through each object, and you do get almost seemingly impassable rocky paths which are tricky to make any progress on, but you do get through them in the end. And you can see here it's rugged off-road. I didn't always know quite where I was supposed to go or what the boundaries were occasionally. Sometimes you see a boundary line like that, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's not entirely clear at this stage which way I'm allowed to attack some of these courses. Some of them are very tight to the boundary line in terms of where you're going. I think here's a section here where it all comes together again, closes up. Nice views though. If you look into the distance, you've got the sunlight, the detail, the rock. It's nicely shown off here in this sort of dystopian world of off-road action. You can imagine if there was an off-road Mad Max game, this would be it. And we're trying to get up these rocks now. Just again, what I was trying to do, a bit of acceleration, stopping, trying to accelerate just to lift the vehicle a bit over a little gap. And sometimes you've got no alternative. If you just little bits of revs don't do anything, I find you've really got to give it some boot, otherwise you do get beached very easily. So at least with the revs you do get, just looking at how to approach this. We can go across the top area and work our way through this top area. That looked good because I thought going down in that ravine and then getting up again looked a bit tricky to me. So this is rocky off-road. I'm playing with a controller on this particular demo, but the final game will be compatible with a steering wheel. I look forward to playing it more with a steering wheel. I think the wheel will give it a lot more sensation in terms of working the wheel, and if possible I'll run a bit of that on a video at a later stage when we can get a proper hands on a later build. You know, there's still elements that I think need improvement at this stage. You know, some of the suspension movement could be better, just giving you an indication of when you occasionally get beached like this. So I wanted to show off a little bit of the challenges that sometimes come up where you're trying to work out how do I approach this section. But you see, I got beached and then thought, right, I've got to find another way around. Let's try using the other rocks, and that's it. It's a process. It's not as straightforward as you just attack it and that's the way. And then suddenly, boom, you find a way around it, and the answer was there all along. And there might be several ways of going up that, and it might also depend on different vehicles. So you might get into a different vehicle class and you can't use the same paths. We're really struggling here, aren't we, on this? There's just no traction. And I thought by a squeeze, I should have stayed full throttle then, I'd have made that then. There we are. And now we're looking at Northern Forest. See undergrowth here, Ridge Passage. Again, different types of rocks, different types of mud. You have swamps you drive through. Occasionally there's various little things here. I just hit what I got penalty then. because I'm trying to reverse to get myself in an angle to go across these bridges. You will get beached on the bridge if your wheels obviously fall between the gaps, and that means restarting that object. There is a restart button, thankfully, and then you're working your way over nice views and stuff like that, down the mountains, up the mountains. There's lots to see visually over the giant logs, and you can see get them wrong and it's over. It's over. It needs a restart after that, and I'll just wait for my restart. There we go, and let's try that again. As you can see, you know, you make a mistake, you approach it, and then you look at it in a different way. How do I get through this? Nothing is straightforward on these courses. Everything requires a bit of thought and careful approach. Take it nice and slowly. Again, there's a tricky bridge. Can we get across? Just about managing it. And just ran again here. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's over. There we go. Down the mountain. Time for a restart. Okay, so now we know over the hump. Nothing is straightforward. Nothing is right. We can just drive from here to there. Jungle Ridge. Lake. What is that? PHASUX is that? And you can see the lighting changes. Very swampy, very muddy. Some open areas, but there's a lot more in the way of sort of man-made challenges here as well, just to mix it up a bit. Again, when I was playing this, it kind of gave me the feeling of Trials HD in a way. If you imagine that kind of Trials HD but in 3D with vehicles, that's kind of what I felt like playing this. It's like it's faster spin tires. It's like a Trials HD. So it's very hard to demo this in a way that's flowing, because every time you come to an object like here, I'm literally thinking, I don't know what to do here. So I just knock the cone out of the way, knowing it'd be a 2-second penalty, because I don't know how to approach this object. And a lot of the times in making this video, I was getting to an object and thinking, right, it's a thought process. You know, getting over an object is not a quick driving sensation. It's, you know, I thought I'd go for it there. I just thought, let's do it. And try and find a way up these rocky paths. And, you know, things, look at that. I mean, look at that rocky passage. I mean, there's a lot of geometry there that we're trying to work our way up. And getting there gradually. Getting a bit of a rev there. Four-wheel drive, putting it through its paces. And you're rocking the car again, you're turning from side to side, you're trying to get the car moving. Anything you can to find some traction somewhere. And then we're up it. I've no idea how I did that, so it will take time to actually memorise your routes. The circuits are, you know, complex in terms of challenges. Everything's a challenge, and there's so many different ways you can approach some of this. Probably much quicker. I'm actually braking a little bit here just to control the vehicle. I can't see some of the things, and there are rocks in the bushes that will damage your front suspension, front wheels. So if you look just down, just behind the VV logo, actually there's a sensor there telling you the sort of condition of the vehicle. It's very important. And some of these are relatively tight, some of these objects. Just work our way up and over. To take your time. So it's a tricky experience getting over some of these. And again here, just trying to get those front wheels up. Sometimes you want to rev the car or not. Sometimes you just gently rolling it over some objects is far more preferable. I think in some areas I kind of feel like some objects seem to stop the car dead, when I'd probably like them to slow it rather than stop it. It should sort of bump over some of them. It's very difficult to determine when something's going to hit you like a brick wall occasionally, and when something's not, because it's so filled with challenges, objects that affect the car in a different way. Tricky stuff, tricky driving. So do let me know in the comments what you think. Do like and subscribe, supports what we do. and do let me know in the comments what you'd like to see when I eventually come to testing this game properly. The pit vertical crawl, wow, what a nightmare this is. I tell you, it really is a nightmare. I mean, that happens a lot. So much, in fact, that I fast forward in a moment and I decide, right, I'm going to do this. I just made the decision, I'm going to get up this ramp. So some of the elements I've cut from this video were just me trying to understand how to get over. I made it look easier to this point because I thought, well, some of you might get bored if you see me just trying to get up one object. But every now and again you do come to a challenge that is like seemingly impassable, and I was trying this and thinking, do you know, I'm not having this. No, I'm not stopping until I find the way. I'm going to try every single type, slow, fast, different ramps, diagonal from different sides, low power, high power, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, swerving, everything I'm going to try. And eventually it just needed to run up with some more boot. I think we'll see in just a moment. But oh, look at it, so close. There are negative bumps in the ramp, and we're finally over. And now and then I restarted, and it put me at the base of the bump again. Oh goodness me! So we've done it this time. Come on, we're not stopping now, and we're over. Let's get over to the next section. We're finally over it. So as you can see, some of these objects are not easy. If you're somebody who's skilled at this type of genre, you're gonna come to these objects that are not straightforward. You're trying to hang on for dear life here. Just don't fall down. I tell you, it's heart-stopping in its own way. But and then we come to just another wall. It keeps going and going and going on this particular track. I'm going to leave you guys to it now, viewers. I hope you've enjoyed the video today, and there'll be more from me, more Overpass action next few months. And there'll be more from me very soon.